Hey guys, it's Robin, Rs Island Crafts, and welcome to my studio. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I'm going to show you what I worked on in the craft room this past week. I finished my bright and colorful mat. As you can see, I added some purple sashing on this one. This is the one I worked on with my patrons. And I did a blue backing on this one also. This one has a bunch of flowers on it, and the girl has a little bit of face in this. There we go. See her little face in the center of the flower? So all over these flowers, every little section of flower you see here has a little bit of a face in it. I used scrappy binding all around it. I tried to pull different colors that were in here so that I had a little bit of everything. I stitched it down with a buttonhole stitch. Basically, I sewed it to the back, brought it around to the front, and then just did the buttonhole all the way around. I've been using it for a few days now, and it's a great thread catcher. All the little bits of thread when I'm sewing gets caught on this. If you look over here, this is some shelf lining. That's where I do my sewing. I had to put some shelf liner underneath this because the Brothers sewing machine already slides around a lot on this table. And then once I put this mat underneath it, it slid really well. So as I was trying to sew a perfect 1/4 inch, it was going like this and make it a little bit difficult. So I brought out the shelf liner. I put this on top of there. And so far it's been working really great. Shelf liner doesn't seem to be leaving any marks or anything on the table. I just remember way back when we had the non-slip mats underneath our carpets and stuff on the tile floors, a lot of times it would leave a dark marks and stuff underneath, or it would get stuck to the floor, and when you peel it all up you'd see bits of it left behind. It was so many years ago, but it does stick in the back of my head, and I'm like, I was a little worried about it. It sticks really well, but it stops it from sliding, but it doesn't stick it to the table. And I sewed on it for about 8 hours today. So we'll see as time goes by what happens. I don't see any marks on the back of the sewing machine mat. I'd show you the one that we finished over here on YouTube, but that one's already on its way to a new home. So both mats are done. Coming into the room and seeing the bright sewing mat on the table has just been really nice. And it's nice to have it underneath there while I'm working, and then I can see it underneath the sewing machine, and it just adds that brightness to the room, to the point where I was thinking, gee, I need to cover the entire table with something like that. But that's not very realistic because this is where I have my cutting station and all that. So I'll just keep that little bit of brightness there. I had a request to make some bun makers. Now these things are really strange looking. But basically, from what I saw, I'll put a link down below to the video that was shared with me on how to make these. It is an amazing video. I've told you guys before, a lot of times I have to watch several videos because they always put their hands in the way or they leave out an instruction, and I always feel kind of lost. This was easy. I paused it, watched it a few times, paused it, and sewed as I go with the video, and I was able to follow her along perfectly. I had no questions. The only part I struggled with is getting the wire in, because there's a piece of wire in here. So you have to get this wire to go all the way around like this while pushing it in from this section. And that's more of a issue with trying to push a wire in than anything with instructional. But from what I understand, I haven't had long hair in quite a while, but you put this on and you pull your long hair through here and you roll it up onto a bun at the back of your neck, and then you bring these up and you can twist them like bunny ears or the little ties. Like, it reminds me of like I Love Lucy when she would put her hair up and she'd tie the bandana or stuff at the back. That's just something that it reminds me of, but it seems to be very popular. There are a lot of videos for this, so I had a request for 3 of them. They look kind of funky because the wire, I haven't straightened it all out, and if I'm going to ship these in the mail, they're probably going to get a little bit funky. I plan on putting these in an envelope. They are this much too long to put in a flat rate envelope, which would allow me to shove a bunch of cardboard and stuff and make it packed nice and neatly. Just that much too much. So I think that I can get a legal rate, flat rate envelope at the post office, so I'll use that. That way I can put some nice thick pieces of cardboard in there to hold it straight. I'm really concerned about it going through all the different machines at the post office and having the wire bend and break, or it gets bent and then when my customer gets it and she goes to unbend it, then it breaks because you don't use a very thick wire in it. But obviously it must last for a while if you can use it over and over again. It's just my concerns. I always call it my paranoia, but it's always my worries, like what's going to go wrong? How can I avoid something going wrong? But they came out really great. I did one quick test one just to figure out the center part, and I love how they turned out, and I hope who I'm sending them to enjoys them as much as I enjoyed making them. I had a request for some of my colorful scrappy baskets. Now these I didn't make. I made them, yes, but not this week. These were already in the shop, so my customer chose these. And then she requested also a purple and a blue. My customer wanted these for her grandchildren, so she gave me the ages and whether it was a boy or a girl, so that I knew when I was making these extra ones. She already approved the ones that I showed you already, but these I knew I could make specifically for a boy or a girl. So the purple one is for a 4-year-old girl. So I went with some hearts and some flowers and some butterflies and bows. I wanted some bright colors, different things to go with the purples. I put this one in just because I love this fabric, but I thought these were really fun things. This dragonfly silhouette, some little flowers, and I thought that was great for a 4-year-old girl, but she could also grow with this, that this isn't just going to be childish for her. And this one's for a 5-year-old boy. So I pulled out the robot fabric and the baseballs, and then I was able to get this fabric, so there's some sharks and some anchors, some more fishies and fishies. So I kind of went with a little bit of an all-around boy theme. So I got baseballs and robots and fishies, and then on this side and more of this fabric because I really like that. There's another robot I was able to get there. How cool it would be if that boy has yellow hair. If he has blonde hair, that's going to be perfect. So you have a robot that looks just like him. Some flames, some more sharks and fishies. So I thought that would be really good. Just a blue in the lining and a purple in this lining. I haven't made any of these since the last time we made them on the live stream. So they were a lot of fun to work on again. So while I'm looking at these, I can see things that I've changed just a little bit over time as I was making them. But they're all still basically the same. It's scrappy fabrics with one color scheme and then that gray, which now I am almost out of the gray. I'll probably have to order some more because it's like the perfect neutral gray color for me. Not too dark, not too light. I've used it in so many projects, and it was the 108-inch wide backing fabric that I picked up from fabric.com. So I'll have to pick up some more of that. Well, I like this purple fabric on the handles here. So all of these orders are going to be getting packed up and put out in the mail this week, which means this week I can start some new projects. It seems like most of my week is occupied between making videos for you guys, editing them, chatting with you with comments and stuff like that, doing stuff around the house, running errands, grocery shopping, you know, the things that we just have to do on everyday life. And then when the weekend comes, that's when I get most of my sewing done. I like to get up, I get up early all the time, but I don't do any chores before I start working on the weekends. During the week, if I get up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning, I might go out and do some watering, or if I need to mow the yard, do some laundry, clean the floors, you know, things like that. But on the weekends, I make sure I don't have any chores to do, so that once I get up, get some breakfast, get dressed, showered, all that good stuff, then I'm right into the studio here, and I am just working from early in the morning until the cats start screaming at me for dinner time, which is usually about 4 or 5 o'clock. Pets and little children are really good at telling time. Have you noticed that? So has anyone worked on anything fun this past week, or have you gone anywhere exciting? Is anyone going to the beach? I've been following a few different people on Instagram, and I went on a hike with someone recently, and her and her husband and their dog, they went on this gorgeous hike through the woods, up and down some trails. There was a bridge with the river, and oh, I tell you, I just would love to take a little adventure and do that. I told my daughter the other day I'd like to do a little bit of traveling, and she just looked at me like, what? I guess I know Rob and I talked about this stuff all the time, but I guess the kids were never around to hear it, that when they were old enough and out of the house, we never wanted to own an RV, because then you have to like pay for the insurance and you can't park it here at the house and you got to maintain it. But we thought it'd be really fun every summer or 1 month out of the year to just rent an RV and just go traveling and see where we end up. I think it'd be even more fun now because there's so many places I'm more aware of now than I was like 10 years ago. So there's a lot of fun places to go traveling. I want to be one of those crazy tourists. I want to see the big ball of twine. I want to see the largest chair. I want to definitely go, and I've always wanted to do that train ride where you can do and be a leaf peeper. So when the leaves are changing in the fall and you can go on a train ride. I don't think they really do that much anymore, but I'd be more than happy just to drive myself around and see all the different leaves changing. I think it's good for us all to have a dream, whether it comes true or not, whether we do it or not. I think it's nice just to dream about it. How many people sit there and say, oh, what would we do if we ever won $1 million? I mean, I don't even play the lottery, and Rob and I always talked, well, what would be the first thing you'd do if you won $1 million? I think I'd pass out. That'd be the first thing I'd do. So I don't think there's a problem with, if I never leave this area and I never get to go traveling, it's okay, because I've had those adventures in my mind. It's like reading a book where you get to travel all around the world, even if you never get there. So that brings us to, what would we choose for a code word this week? Well, you can choose whichever one you want. You want to have a dream or you want to have an adventure. Let me know down below what your dream is or what your adventure is. Thanks for hanging out with me every week. Probably should let you guys know what we're going to do on the live stream this weekend. Our tutorial coming up this week on Friday is going to be for a tote bag. I'm going to show you 2 different ways that I know of for boxing the corners. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I've been having a lot of fun going on Pinterest again and wandering around online on different blogs and stuff and looking at, I've been really hooked on tote bags lately, and because there's a lot of things you can do with a tote bag and a lot of techniques you can learn that, even though it's a tote bag, there's such a variety of things you can do. You can learn so much and have so many different things. You can make a dozen tote bags and use different techniques for all of them. So I want to do a little bit more work to see if I can find another couple techniques, but I know of 2 different ways to box corners. So we're going to make a tote bag, we're going to box the corners, and we're going to put a simple slip style pocket in it. So I think on Saturday that I'm going to go ahead and work on some tote bags again. So if you guys have any questions or you want to just sew along, that's what we're going to be working on Saturday on the live stream. I am in Florida, so 12 o'clock Eastern time zone. So if there's any techniques in tote bag making, or if there's any questions you have, you can go ahead and leave them down below in this video or leave them on Friday's video. And if you leave them here today, give me enough time to look it up and do a little bit of research before Saturday comes, and we can just talk through as many techniques as you want and figure out different things. And I think I will probably, I don't know, I'm really into making scrappy tote bags now, so we'll see what I work on Saturday. But of course, you guys can work on anything you want. Just come and chat in the chat box and have conversations with everyone, hang out for a little bit, and just see how much trouble we can get into. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!